How far can Wrexham go under the owners, under Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack? Welcome back to Where Red Dragons Talk with myself, Luke, and alongside me today we've got Ed and Steve. So, Ed, we'll start with the game and then we'll get into the owner discussion. So, the game itself, the key moments all surround Lewis O'Brien, don't they? Should it have been a red card?
I think, to be honest, I think yes. I think it wasn't the best challenge very early on. I think we got away with one a little bit there, to be fair. For me, I don't think we could have complained if it was a red. I know a few people thought it was borderline, but I certainly don't think we could complain. We were quite fortunate, I think, to get away with the yellow.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Steve? You're happy with a yellow, but should it have been a red, really?
Yeah, it objectively speaking should have been a red, but it was one of those fouls early on in a match where the refs don't want to make such a critical decision so early on. So I think if that was later in the first or to start the second half, I think that definitely would have been a red card.
Yeah. I think that's important actually to mention. I think the stage of the game it was in is one of them where the ref don't really want to give that red card. That happens in the 70th minute. That's a red card, isn't it? I think we can all agree on that. But anyway, he managed to stay on the pitch and he came up with a goal, didn't he, Ed? It was a great finish.
He did, and I think not too many Derby fans were happy with that, with him being a former Forest player. But yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic all season. And again, on Saturday, he comes up with the goods. He's been really, really good. Looks an absolute quality player. He's just boundless energy. He's up and down the pitch. He's just like another Rathbone for us. Just keeps going and going and going and going, harassing. But yeah, he's been quality.
I think the things I've been impressed with is his late runs into the box. I haven't seen that from him at previous clubs, really. I think he's been more of an 8, but that late, whether that's St. Park he's told him to do, but them late runs into the box are impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's playing quite high as well. I know when we're on the press, and not just like the late runs have been fantastic, and that's why he's popped up with a couple of goals. But on the press as well, you see he's very, very high. He's almost up there with Moore and Windass. He plays very, very high for us, I feel.
Yeah, no, very, very important player, it seems. Steve, was you happy with the point in the end of the game?
I had a feeling we could have come away with 3 on that one. Again, I'm not going to argue. We're still mid-table now, which is where we want to be. I'm not upset by 1 point, but definitely felt like we could have gotten away with 3 points there. I think we just didn't capitalize on our opportunities enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. Right, now let's move on to the owners. So I think everybody inside the Wrexham probably, I've heard a lot about them. Everyone outside of Wrexham is also very, very intrigued, let's say. My question for you guys is, you've obviously had such a rise the last couple of years. With the ownership of Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack, how far can you go? How far? What's the ambition under them, Ed? Is it the Premier League? Is that where they're shooting for?
I think so. I think when you look every season, they've never won in consolidation. There's always been heavy investment. So the days from the National League, League Two, is to straight away get promotion. Many of us felt League One would be quite a consolidation season, maybe 2-3 years in League One and then get up. But again, they invested heavily, and it's been said a lot of times in the documentary, they're just shooting for the next league all the time. I feel that in terms of their own personal finances, maybe the Premier League's a bit much, but already we've got investment coming in, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were looking for more investment. So I certainly think we're on the crest of a wave and everything's really, really on the rise. So I think the owners want to get us up into the Premier League as quickly as possible. I think they're under no illusions of how difficult that task is, but I think they want something quick to keep the momentum, keep people interested, grow the fan base. Things are very, very positive around Wrexham at the moment.
Yeah, I think, and that's the key thing you mentioned obviously about other investors, because yes, they might not have the personal wealth that you need in the Premier League, but what they both are is massive names, aren't they, Steve? And I think what that brings is eyes, and then that brings investors. So it could turn into a bit of a consortium, if you like, where there's lots of investors involved. Do you think having their name as well as what they've done for the club is important for Wrexham, Steve?
Well, their name is part of it, but they're both brilliant at marketing, especially Ryan Reynolds. Ryan just knows how to get himself out there. He's obviously owns his own, several companies now, right? So he's a brilliant businessman as well as actor. So he's very personable. Everybody seems to love him. Same thing with Rob Mack. And the one thing about Rob Mack is he doesn't want to take his foot off the pedal ever. Like, if you don't think he's not trying to get up to the Premier League this year, you're insane. He wants it. Whether it's going to happen or not, it's that, to me, that would be, an absolute miracle to pull it off this year. But they want this, and they want to push ahead, and they want to end up in the Premier League. And same with piggybacking off Ed, they'll bring in more investors because they know they need a lot more money in order to hit that goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, it's all very, very positive around the owners, and what they've also achieved is, as a whole club, is obviously getting to the next round of the League Cup, Ed. And who is it that you've got in the next round?
Certain South Walian friends of ours, Cardiff City. It's been a long time, too long. I still remember the 90s when it would be us, Cardiff and Swansea. For a little period there in the 90s, we were definitely number one. It was close, but we were number one for a little period there. But I know a lot of people in the League Cup, they wanted a big team. I know people wanted the Liverpools. I was going to say Man U, but they're not in it anymore. But I think a lot of people, they wanted us to get a nice Premier League draw. But I think this is the next best thing. It's a home game. It is a Welsh derby. I know it's 3.5 hours away, but it's a Welsh derby. But I do feel Cardiff will be really, really up for it. And one of my little fears is for the League Cup, we keep making 10 changes. It's worked beautifully so far. But I wonder in this round whether Parky's going to stick a little bit a bit closer to our normal starting 11. I'm pretty interested to see what happens, because one step from the quarters, and then who knows, maybe we're dreaming of Wembley.
Yeah, very true. What do you think he's going to do, Steve? Do you think he will stick to more, on paper, the official starting 11? Do you think he's going to be more the strongest 11 to start?
Yeah, with this being a derby, 100%, I think he's going to go with a lot stronger of a roster for this one. So I think it's going to look a lot closer to a normal starting 11 for this. We can't go in and lose this match. We can't. So we've got to go for this. This is bragging rights now, right? And, to get into the quarters is amazing, right? So, that would be an amazing feat. And I wasn't, I'll again piggybacking off Ed, I wasn't disappointed by the draw, because now we've got a really winnable match. Let's look for the real big name, in the quarters. I think that would be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Let's look on to the double game week, isn't it? So we got the midweek fixture away at Leicester, and then at home to Birmingham. Ed, what would you be happy with for them two games? If you took 4 points, would you be happy from that?
If we took 4 points, I'd be absolutely over the moon. I'd be pretty ecstatic with 4 points, to be fair. I think Leicester away, that is such a tough game. If we can get anything out of that, that's a blessing. But then equally, I know Birmingham were very poor at the weekend versus Coventry, but I'd expect them to be better when they play us. So, to be honest, I'd be happy with 3 points. Actually, I'd be happy with 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a strong return. Like you say, Leicester away is a tough game. The Birmingham one, Steve, though, we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, when we were talking about rivals, etc., and how Wrexham have 8 million of them. But I think the parallel comparison between Birmingham and Wrexham, I think this makes for an interesting game, doesn't it?
Yes. So our 2 matches last season, the first one, we looked competitive, early on, and then they just took over the match. The second one, we had them on the ropes in the second half. So, and you're right, they haven't been playing great as of late. So, that's one game that I would like to see us, that would be a very great first win at home. That's the one I'm really anticipating. And again, sorry, Ed, I'm piggybacking a lot off what you're saying, mate. You're brilliant today. But yeah, if we can get 3 points, I'll be happy. And that 3 points, I would be happy with the win, at home. And if we can get 1 point against Leicester, I'll be really happy with that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good return. Right, we're now going to move on to a new segment in the show. So it's called the A to Z. So we're going to start with the letter A this week, and every week we're going to obviously go through the alphabet. So I'm going to shout the letter A to you, and I want both of you to come up with a relation to the letter to the club Wrexham. So whether it's a player, manager, experience, whatever it is, tell us a little bit about why you've chose that letter. So Steve, we'll start with you, mate. So letter A, what's your letter A?
Arthur Okonkwo, man, he made 2 brilliant back-to-back saves in yesterday's match. Just outstanding, and I think he kind of silenced a few of his critics, including me, because I thought we were going to go with Burton after his match against Reading. So, A for Arthur for me.
Yeah. I think you're right there, Steve. For him to keep his place in the team after obviously someone coming in midweek was important. That'll do well for his confidence, won't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, it was clutch, those 2 saves to keep us in that match. So, massive.
Yeah. What about you then, Ed? What's your letter A for Wrexham?
It's a little bit before me, I'm quite happy to say, but Arthur Griffiths, he's a club legend. Last time we were in the 2nd division, which is now the Championship, he's the guy that got us promoted. So following John Neal, who was a very, very successful manager at Wrexham, this is in the 70s, Arthur took over and then took us up to that next level. We made the European Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final under him, FA Cup quarter-final, League Cup quarter-final. So a lot of the records that we're trying to break were set by him. So hopefully this season we can break records, finish a bit higher than we did under him, and maybe, who knows, get even further in the cups.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout, because it's what he done, a good couple of decades ago is now probably what, we just spoke about the owners. It's probably what they bought into, the history of the club. That's what it's all about, isn't it? The history of what, managers like that and players of the past have built. So I think that's a good sort of connection between the two. Love it. Right, we're now on to tweet of the week to finish. So it's a rival fan, so I'm going to say that it's a rival fan, and I also won't use the last word that's said, but you'll get why I'm going to read this one out. So it is, you probably heard it lots of times. Cheating Hollywood. It starts with T, ends in S. Let's leave it that way. How's that feel, guys? I mean, it's very unique to Wrexham to have that constant criticism. We were speaking about the positivity that obviously the owners bring, but also they obviously do come with a bit of a target on their back. What do you think, Steve? Do you think it's tiresome? I can imagine.
Oh, it's just bollocks. Are we complaining about billionaire oil owners? We're really worried about Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds. Really, we're really going to go down there. So please tell me how we're treating. Come on.
Yeah.
So it does get a little tiresome. And being a newer fan to Wrexham, we catch a lot of grief as well. On top of the owners and all of us new fans. But my question when I throw that out there, when a baby's born, is that no less of a fan when they're born in Wrexham or somewhere else and they cheer for their, the team that their parents cheered for, right? It's getting a little old. Call us Hollywood FC, call us Disney FC, call us what you want. We're not going away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you there, Steve. I mean, how is a fan base meant to grow if you don't get new fans? Like it's not going to work, is it? Ed, what about you, mate? Are you tired of hearing this now? The whole Hollywood thing.
I think maybe we'd get it anyway, but I think because we've gone up the leagues quickly, we hear it again and again from different fans. So I think sometimes people think they're a bit more original than maybe they actually are. What I noticed in particular last season was there were times when we got decisions go for us, times they went against us. Anything that went for us was tweeted, it was reshared, it was just everywhere, all over social media as confirmation that we were buying the referees. Everything was going for us, but things that went against us weren't so popular. They weren't so popular amongst rival fans. So the latest conspiracy I heard was that the EFL are considering making the Championship playoffs position 7 and 8. And that is because Wrexham probably won't finish top 6, but they've got more chance of finishing 8th. And therefore, the conspiracy is that we make the playoffs, but then obviously lose in the playoffs because they won't want us going to the Premier League because they want in the EFL.
Right. So they now think Ryan Reynolds is basically running the EFL. Is that how it works?
Basically.
Yeah, the power. Yeah, the power of Deadpool, right? Like he's lethal.
Lovely. Thank you guys. Thank you for a great conversation as always, and thank you for watching at home. Please like and subscribe, and please comment below of your letter A for the club. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe.